Mhm. Good
Hi,
evening,
everybody.
everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome. If it's Wednesday, it must be Sisters of the Mystical Tarot. Thank you for being with
Yay!
us. Yay! The brainchild of Valerie, our dragonfly crystals lady, and she has
Mhm.
good ideas once in a while or
Once in
more.
a while, once in a while,
Once
not.
in a while or more. Yes, that's
Oh,
right.
yes.
So I'm here with Val, Dragonfly Crystals and Next Level Channeling, and Shari, Voices from the Swamp, and then of course Marina is here with me from Heart Center Tarot. So thank you for being here with us tonight, and I want to say welcome to all of you that are here. Let's start from the bottom. I see. Hi, Norm. I think we got a question from you that we will get to later
Yep.
on. We got artist Liz, Donna O'Brien, Paula Rovita, Barbara Nesper, Moonstone Girl.
Yep.
Um,
Nice.
let's see who else. Debbie Smith. So I think more people will be coming in. CJ
Yes.
Knop is here, and
Yeah.
Anya's here. Hi, Anya. Got your
Hey,
question
Ellen.
too, and Nettie. Yeah, thanks
Good.
everybody. Thank you so much. As you well know, we get together once a week, and tonight's my night to hostess, even though I'm not with the mostess. And
Yes, you
hi,
are.
Carolyn. Hi,
You have the
Kat. Nice
mostest
to
to
meet
us.
you. Well, thank you. Linda
Yeah.
Bishop. Wayne's here. So I have a whole list of topics that I sat up one night brainstorming, and they're in the back of one of my journals.
Mhm.
So I said, this is a good one for tonight for lots of reasons, I think. So we're going to be
Yes.
talking about boundary setting and how we can go about it without inspiring fear or guilt or when I'm mentioning fear, it's not like you're shaking in your boots. It's more like, I don't want to alienate the person, I don't want to hurt that kind of thing, which, I mean, it's very kind if you can, certainly think that way. But at the same time, I think if we don't set the boundaries and we get ourselves all upset about something, it's just we're not doing ourselves any favors. So it is a form of self-care. So,
Absolutely.
um, anyway,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I'm going to start this evening because I introduced her first. I'm going to start with Val, and we're going to go around the circle
Okay.
counterclockwise. No
Well,
offense, Marina. No offense.
none taken.
Oh
Yes.
my, oh my goodness. Laura says she got YouTube jailed for irreverent comments.
Oh, that's
Oh,
an
I'm
interesting
sorry to hear
thing.
that. We
Well,
still love you here.
Irreverent?
You can be irreverent here. But
yes,
yeah,
that's a little scary if they think things are irreverent. Because,
yeah,
I mean, that's just my middle
I'm
name.
sure it
So I
wasn't.
don't,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
I'm sitting there
Mine
trying to
too.
think. I don't think I say
I
anything that's
must
not
be irreverent
irreverent at some point or
20,000
And
another.
times.
she doesn't even know what it is. They didn't tell her what it was.
And they
No,
So
they
never
don't.
do. You have
yeah,
to guess.
I
How
know.
did I offend somebody?
Yeah,
What did I do?
yeah.
But anyway,
They
hey,
demonetized
everyone.
me for 6 months. It took me 2 months to figure out why. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
So,
anyway,
so
yeah.
anyway, back to the
back to
boundaries.
boundaries. Let's set some
And
boundaries here.
you know, say you're one of those people who are timid about creating boundaries because you really have always felt like you had to be um, giving to
Mhm.
everyone, and they'll maybe even in the back of your mind only they'll like you because you're always saying yes to
People
everything
pleasing.
and
Yeah,
people
yeah.
pleasing.
Hmm.
So at some point in your life you have a lot of responsibilities uh, as an adult, and so at that point you start to feel a little stress over overextending yourself in
Hmm.
these situations, and then you start to feel resentment for saying yes to someone. And that
Right.
resentment builds up, and you might get snippy and sassy. And it might not even be at the person who did that, who asked
Yeah,
you for favors or
that's
whatnot.
true.
It might
Yeah,
be your husband or kids.
yeah,
So you take this, you have this welling up inside of you from this and that and the other thing, and you aren't even realizing it's a pressure cooker.
yeah.
So Ollie's right. It's a form of self care to say, okay, this is enough. This is
Yeah.
enough. I'm an adult. I don't
Hmm.
care if you like me or not in your mind, not to the person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't deserve to say yes to everything and be overburdened. It's not fair to my family. It's not fair to me, first of all. It's not fair to my family to have a grumpy person around
It's true.
who has not managed their energy well. And
Mhm.
so you take responsibility at that point to say, this is how you do it. You, in a loving way,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
am not available to do this. I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
Right now,
Mhm.
I don't have time for that. I'm sorry about that. Boom, done.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in a loving way,
Mhm.
in a loving way, in a loving way.
Right.
Practice it in front of a mirror till you get good at it, because
Yeah.
that's self-love,
Yeah.
self-care.
Yeah.
Practice it in front of a mirror till you get good at it, and then it becomes an automatic "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't have time for that. Sorry, I can't do that.
Right.
I'm
Right.
so sorry."
Yeah.
Blah,
Yeah.
blah. But don't leave the door open for anything any later. "I don't have time. I'm sorry, I can't do."
You don't have to give an explanation, I always
No
heard.
explanation.
Yeah.
No is an explanation, as
Right.
Marina likes to say in
Yep.
her words, no is an explanation.
Yeah.
It's a complete
No.
sentence.
No,
No is a
period.
complete sentence.
Yeah.
However,
Uh-huh.
But
so
you know, as
anyway,
women, I think we are taught to give an excuse behind that
Yeah.
no.
Well,
And
yeah. Or we feel like we have to do
yeah,
that.
we
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
we have to. So the final thing I want to say about that is you are not guilty because you don't owe anyone any favors or anything.
Mhm.
I mean, in that way, you are doing favors and favors and favors. Then when you say you can't do them, all of a sudden you feel guilty about not doing everyone else's work.
Mhm. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Let's
That's true.
straighten out
yeah,
the perception there
Yeah.
with that story and stand in front of that mirror and say,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
good.
Yeah.
It's
I don't have
interesting
time this month.
this month,
I
this
don't
year,
have time this year."
this lifetime. It's funny because I always thought I wasn't taught how to set boundaries, but now that I think back on it, my mother said to me, "I am not your personal babysitter, and I would be happy to watch your child when I want to watch your child, but not any other time." And I would see my friends dumping their kids off at their mother's house.
Yeah.
She set
And
her
it used to
boundaries.
kind of upset me. It was like, I don't get that. But then now, as my
Absolutely.
age, I
Yeah.
say the same thing. So
Yeah.
she did teach me boundaries.
She did.
So
Yep.
good.
that was the
Absolutely.
first thing my mother told me when I told her I was pregnant.
Uh-huh.
Well, don't be thinking I'm going to babysit every
Mm.
night so y'all can go do whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Mom, don't worry. We won't ask you to babysit.
Yeah.
We were home 3 days when she showed up one evening as she got off work.
Mhm.
Showed up, came in the house. Hi, went off into the bedroom where, the baby was. She comes out a few minutes later with his bag packed, his diaper bag, and him. She says, "See you Sunday," and she left.
That was her, but that
My
was her
husband,
choice. Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
was her choice. But my
Yeah.
husband looked at me and said, "I thought she wasn't going to babysit." And I was like, "Shh, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it while we got the quiet."
Sure.
So
Sure. But it was her. That's my mother would do the same
it
thing.
was her
She,
choice.
yeah. As
Exactly.
long as it was her choice, it was okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, anything else you might want to say about boundaries, Shari?
I've always had a hard time setting them for myself
Uh-huh.
because I've always kind of been put in a position of being the caretaker for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like you just constantly you give and you give and you give and you don't say no because other people are depending on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really hard time learning to put the brakes on
Uh-huh.
and say, no, I can't do that now. And
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that right
Right.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe next weekend I'll have free time. I can help you do whatever. But
Do you feel
It
bad
too.
about it
I
if you
mean,
have to
I'm
do it? Do you feel bad about it?
sometimes I feel a little
Sometimes?
guilty.
Uh-huh.
Just depends on the person and what the need is that they
Mhm,
have.
mhm,
Um, uh, if it's somebody I know that has a disability or a handicap of some kind, then I really
mhm.
feel guilty because I know what it's like to not be able to do certain things for
Sure,
yourself.
sure.
And you
Mhm.
have to rely on somebody else to help you. But at the same time, I have to stop and remind myself, you have plans already. You've got things you're going to be doing for your peace of mind and make your life a little bit better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and there are
Yeah,
other friends that they can ask. And
yeah, yeah.
so,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Wow.
I think it's that we have to train ourselves to do
Yeah, we
because
do. We do.
it's
And
part of the
with Linda said,
nurturing, we're
yeah,
nurturers.
if
You
we don't do it by the time after menopause or by the time we become Crohn's, then we're really stuck. We really
Yes.
have to.
I think that's when I started developing my no button
Uh-huh.
was about the time I hit menopause.
Yeah,
Because it was like, yeah, I ain't got time for this crap.
yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like a
Oh,
switch flips and you're like,
Yes.
Yeah, it's
oh,
like a
hell
switch
no.
flips.
No, I don't have to. No,
yeah, yeah.
not doing that.
And Laura, I think we've all felt that way at some
Oh,
point.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
most
it's
definitely.
it is terrible. It is,
I'm not
and
sure
we
it's
shouldn't be made to
justification
feel that
for you.
way. We should
Yeah.
have, if somebody gives us a hard time, we should say to them, you know,
Yeah.
I don't usually say no, but I have to say no. And
Yeah.
you're going to have to
You don't
learn that
even
I
have
have to
to
set
say you don't
boundaries.
usually say no. I've got my calendar here. Take it out of your purse and put it on your phone. I got my calendar here and I am busy for a whole entire year. I don't have time
Yeah.
for this
Yeah.
particular thing. My dance
Uh-huh.
card is full. And
Right.
while I appreciate everything that you are
Yeah.
Yeah.
asking for,
Mhm.
for me, I'm not able to deliver that.
Right.
However you want to say it, you can kind it up and sweet it up all you want,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I hear
I
you.
think it really makes you feel guilty if somebody does something for you, like they send you a card or a gift or something, and for whatever reason it goes to the bottom of the pile of mail. This just happened to me, where
Yeah.
somebody sent me a really sweet card and gift like over a month ago, and I just found out that it was even there like 2 days ago. I was like,
Mhm.
oh my God, how long has this been sitting on my desk? But there was a pile of mail on top of it that I just hadn't gotten to,
It can
Mm.
happen.
So now
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I need to sit down and write her back and apologize for not saying something sooner, So now I got egg on my face and I feel bad, but that's
No.
what happens
It
when you throw
happens.
your stuff on
That
the
It happens.
desk and you
Mary.
don't
Yeah,
get to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's different for
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
yeah,
That's true. That's
yeah.
true.
I
Marina?
stopped, I stopped feeling guilty about what it was that I found important or what I wanted to do um, a number of years ago. And it was after kind of a dark night of the soul where no,
Yeah.
the answer is no.
Mhm.
And and I realized that a lot of it excuse me, came from, yes, the idea of um, you've always been such a good girl. You've always been so caring. Oh, she's the one that in the family you could always rely on, and all those things, those messages that I took on, thinking that this was something that I had to be for
Mhm.
everyone else.
Mhm.
And my kind of moment of awareness came when I thought, okay, who does that for me? Who do I go to?
Yeah.
And how am I received when I say I need a hand, or I need this, or I need that? And if it's not reciprocal, if it and it's not a matter of keeping score, but you just know that, well,
You
you know,
know.
I'm always there for so and so, and it seems that every time I call them to do I need a favor, they're just on their way out the door and they're doing this and they're whatever. So um,
Yeah.
that's when I realized, that the concept of no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
And
Which
I
I
don't
like.
yeah. And that
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
it's
have
no.
to explain myself or justify. And it was funny because I remember watching a Big Bang Theory one time, and someone had asked Sheldon Cooper, Sheldon, do you want to come and do this with us? And he said, I don't think I would enjoy that.
He just does it
And I
like
thought,
that. He's so straight out says it.
Uh-huh.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wow.
So
Uh-huh.
I don't initially, when I would have to say no to things, there was initially pushback. Well, why not?
Yeah.
What are you doing that's so important?
None of your damn business.
I could be cutting my toenails. It doesn't matter.
I've had constipation all week, and I'm finally get 10 minutes. I can sit on the pot. So, let's be real graphic.
So it's
Yeah.
no. What do I have to do? I have other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I have other things. And
Yeah.
no, I'm not available.
Right.
And not feel, and I think we do as women, we feel like we need to oh my gosh, I'd love to help you, but you know what, I've got company coming over later today and I need to clean the house and I need to do that. It's almost as if we don't believe that we're entitled to say no.
Yeah, it is almost as
Or-
if we don't believe
or
it.
that we won't be believed, that we
Yes.
have to come up with a reason that
Yeah.
is believable.
Yeah. We're going to have a
Not
believable reason.
legitimately, like it's
Yeah.
not legitimate.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Because what my
Oh,
wants and
God.
needs are clearly secondary to someone else's wants and needs. So
And
Yeah.
the same
it's
thing will
also
happen to
easier.
us at work where we take on extra jobs,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
say if a person leaves and
Yeah.
a position is open and then they drag their feet or the higher ups don't want to
Yeah.
fill the position right now.
Well,
And
Sherry's been
suddenly-
doing it. We'll add that to her job. Yeah.
Sherry will take care. I mean, I
Exactly,
did two
right?
people's job for 2 years
Yeah.
before they
Uh-huh.
finally hired the other position.
Yeah.
And I went and interviewed for the position because my boss wanted me to, but then after I did the interview, I went to his office and said, I don't want the job. Okay, I went through the stuff y'all wanted me to do, but I don't
Yeah.
want the job. So find
Yeah.
somebody else. And he was like, thank you for telling me that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
There
he
you
knew
go.
how I felt, but I
Sure.
felt like I had to really make it clear. And at the same time, it was like, but I'm also not going to be doing this other stuff
Mhm.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you don't
You
mind
need to make
helping
it-
out for a period of time, if
Right.
everybody's out for at some reason, but to be
Yeah,
overburdened by
but
it,
2
not get
years,
paid
I
for
mean,
it. Yeah.
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 And
Exactly.
just to kind of clarify is, as Pep said, I never ask for help, always do it myself. I think there is a difference between someone needing a hand,
Uh-huh.
in which case, if I'm available, absolutely. Can you give me a hand with this? Absolutely, I can do that. I think that what we're talking about is if we're kind of infringed upon, if we're
Mhm.
if we feel like someone is trying to make you feel guilty because you're not carrying their luggage, right? It's like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Very
And-
good. Very good. Yeah. Mhm.
And if I need help from someone, absolutely, I will
yeah.
certainly ask
Yeah.
for it.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
that's
You just
That's-
don't need to be run over. That's it,
No.
Suzanne is right. Being taken advantage of is different than
Yes.
being asked for help, if you need help for
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting because I am a person who leaves my phone off, not completely off, just no ringtone, nothing. And I've had people ask me over and over again, why don't you ever have the ringtone on? And I said, well, and this is my favorite answer to the question. This is my boundary. I said, unless somebody else wants to pay my cell phone bill, I said, it's my phone and it's for my convenience, not for the convenience of anybody that happens to be calling me. And I remember saying this for years and years, and you still get a lot of pushback. But at the same time, I was getting phone calls and ding dings all the time in the middle of meetings. And I don't want that. I don't need that in
Yeah.
my life. And I always look and check after a period of time to see if there's something there. So it isn't like I'm ignoring people either, but you know, I don't have to answer the phone. I'm paying the bill.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I mean, remember the day before cell phones when we had the phone that was on the wall and you had to stand
Yeah.
there while you were
Yeah.
talking on it? How did we survive?
I don't
Everybody
know.
else survived.
And you had to answer the phone to know who it was that was calling you.
Yeah.
Right.
There was no caller ID. There was
Right.
no call back. There was none of that stuff. I mean,
But and
unless you had my grandmother in your house who would
Yeah.
say,
and they
your
also
aunt
didn't have
so-and-so's calling,
scammers.
go
Yeah,
answer.
yeah. You didn't have advertisers and scammers like they have today.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
somebody who'd be calling would be somebody you needed to hear from, usually. So,
And you're supposed to be on the do not call list, and they're still calling. Even if
that-
you're on the
that doesn't-
that thing is
doesn't do
gone.
any
I
good.
don't know what's wrong with it, but
Doesn't work.
Mary, good for you. She doesn't own one and she loves it. There's your boundary,
Yes.
Mary. See?
Yeah.
You know what you want and what you don't want.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oh, I bet you do, Water Lily. She worked in police dispatch. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have a phone if I had to do that. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
You know, for
my phone
years
is
I
always
had a
on silent.
phone.
Mhm.
Yeah, for years I had a phone that it only charged me for that day if
Mm.
I made a call, answered a call, or opened a text message.
Uh-huh.
And so it was like if I ignored it and didn't do any of the above or just automatically deleted it, then I wouldn't get charged for that day.
Uh-huh.
You know, it was like $1 a day or $2 a day, something. But if I had to answer the phone, say in the morning, then I used the hell out of it all day long because I knew I'd already paid that dollar for the day, so might as well
That's
go
true.
for it.
That's true. Sherry.
And but yeah, you know, so
It's interesting, Sonia, that you were told you could live there rent free, but watch the kids 2 to 3 times a week. No, thank you.
No.
Mhm.
And why don't you want to be part of the kid's life? Hey, I raised my kids. I'm happy to
Yes.
see my I don't have any, but I'm happy to see my grandkids and I love them. There's nothing about that. I take care of my grand dogs, but if there's something that's in my life that weekend, I can't. And I would
Yeah.
expect my
No.
kids to say the same if I asked them.
It's
So,
it's
yeah.
really
Exactly.
true.
And it changes the relationship.
It
It
does.
does.
Yeah.
It
It changes
does,
the
because
relationship.
I see my kids maybe 3 times a year, either at
Mhm.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, and maybe spring break or that kind of thing. And when the grandkids were young enough, those were the big 3 times I'm their favorite grandma because
Sure.
of those short exposures.
Yeah.
I
You're
never
not
been
cranky.
upset or did
You're not
anything
cranky
like
like the other grandma.
I am not cranky. I'm saying it is absolutely true that you are not the caretaker for your grandchildren unless you have to be for
Yeah.
some reason. And there are reasons, obviously.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
it's a
and it's
different
hard.
world that we live in, right?
Yeah.
There was a time when, yes, families lived together. The kids got married and their wives, whatever, moved in with the in-laws, and you know the younger ones, because they were more physically able, would go out to work. So, okay, so then grandma would stay home and she would look after all the kids while the sons and daughters went to work. That was something that was done out of necessity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think that in some cultures that is still very prevalent. And if it's something that works for you, by all means,
Mhm.
it works for you.
And
Mhm.
sometimes it's a choice out of
cases-
necessity and you have to learn to make it work.
Yes.
Which, you know, and it's nice to have that family there with you because there's always someone around to help.
Mhm.
But there are those days when you're like, I would give anything for these people to disappear for
Yeah.
24 hours.
Well, it's really hard for me because we had boundaries. People didn't show up. You didn't just show up at someone's house and knock on the door. Usually, you
Correct.
made it.
You
Even
really,
even when we
Yeah.
didn't have cell phones, we'd make a
Yeah.
plan. Unless it
Yeah.
was an emergency, of course.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I remember staying out in my RV at my stepdaughter's house, and she had a little baby at the time. And when she got up in the morning, she would come out to the RV and open up the door and say, "Here, Dad," and hand the baby to him. And he didn't care. He didn't care. He thought it was fine.
Oh, that's
I
no good.
cared.
I
But for
care.
me, I thought,
Yeah.
this isn't this, and that's the way they are. They walk into each other's
no,
houses.
no.
They do all that. Yeah.
I
couldn't.
the minute I left my parents' house, I had to go back and knock on the door or ring the doorbell.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I
don't know what
always
you walk
knocked on
in.
my mom's
Yeah.
door. I never just walked in.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
She never just walked in at my house. She would always knock, or something.
And then
Yeah.
it wasn't polite not to call beforehand and arrange the visit.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
first of
make
all.
sure they're not busy doing something or
Yes.
Or something.
Yeah.
or something, yeah, or that they're not doing a little something in there.
That's
and they don't
right.
wanna
That
be
could be very
interrupted,
embarrassing.
Drive-bys are
Uh.
not welcome. That's what I was taught, that
Yeah.
you have to make
Yeah.
arrangements no matter
Yeah.
what. And then that way everyone can live a life
Happy.
the way they
Yeah.
want it to, right?
Well,
Back to the day of the calling card. Remember that?
Yeah.
you would
Oh,
send
yes,
a
very
calling
nice.
card with
Drawing
an intended-
room, and you'll see if they will see you, or the calling card before the day before, so you know that Mr. Smith will be calling on you at such and such a time the next day or in the afternoon, whatever. You
Yeah.
know?
It is
Yeah.
respect. How
Yes.
about this idea? When you live with someone, like Marina lives with her son, who's an adult, but if Marina goes somewhere, she probably tells him, I'll be home around this time. I'm going this place. Just because, not because
Courtesy.
he has to check in with him, but because that's the nice thing to do.
Yeah,
But he does
courtesy.
the same thing.
That's what we do at our house. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's me,
all
my
right.
son,
And
my
same with
brother,
you.
his
Yeah.
son. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That to me, I always feel like, when my son and even a visitor, if they come, I don't care what you do, but like, if you're going to be out late, would you just give me the heads up so I don't have to worry about where are you? or
Exactly. That's
something.
just courtesy, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Right. Yeah.
Even
to-
when I was a teenager, my mother was like, you don't have a curfew. You know what's a reasonable time to come home.
Mhm.
And I was always the first one to go home before everybody else. But
Uh-huh.
she would be like, if you're going to stay late or spend the night with a friend, at least do me the courtesy to call and let me know, Mom, I'm going to be about, and I'm not going to be there until 1 or 2 in the morning, or I'm going to stay at so-and-so's house and spend the night. Then
Right.
she didn't sit up and worry about me all night long.
Right.
I
Because you're
did
living
the same with my
a
son.
roommate too.
Yeah.
Like a
That
roommate.
is right. A sign of respect, because it's disrespectful to be in someone's home and not
Yeah.
let them know your comings and goings.
Right,
It's
right.
disrespectful.
Exactly.
It
of
is.
their energy and time of their domain. Basically,
Yeah.
right?
Even if
Absolutely.
you're sharing the rent, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's
It
that
doesn't
sign
No,
of
it's
respect
living
that-
with somebody who might be worried about you, and
Yes.
you might
Right.
be worried about. Yeah.
And if you want to kind of take it one step further, if anything happened to you and, police had to do an investigation, at
Mhm.
least, you could say, well, they were supposed to be home at 9:00.
Yeah. Right.
So you kind of know that, okay, anything after that time, that this is what we
Yeah.
need to look at.
And really, with texting, there's really no excuse if you have a phone.
No.
There's no excuse
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a sign of respect.
Absolutely.
I love that. Innocent Potato,
Hi, Shari.
2.5 years, miles away from parents. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Hi, Terry. But yeah, we moved out here to Washington, and his family lives in Kentucky. And one of them lives in South Carolina now, but I'm happy. It's okay.
Yes.
my kids live here, but I don't see them that often. Then,
Well, you
when we
wouldn't. They have their own lives.
they
They're
have their lives.
adults.
Yeah.
You raised them so that they would be independent and be able to live in the world. That
Yes.
is the
Yeah.
job that you did.
That's right.
And if you
That's
did
right.
it successfully, they're not all over at your house all the time.
True.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Have some, basic courtesy, basic manners.
Yes, basic.
You know,
courtesy
yeah.
manners.
Yeah. What do you think about this idea? In my house, I started probably in the 90s. It wasn't earlier than this. I didn't learn it from anybody. Everybody that comes in the house takes off their shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Because then they
Well, I
don't.
grew up with that.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
an aunt like that. Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
been doing it
Some
for
She had
years. Yeah.
Some people
She
feel
had
it's
hardwood
unusual.
floors that she
No.
would wax on
all
on her
my
hands and knees,
yeah.
and you didn't
All
wear
the-
shoes in
all-
her house.
We've been doing it for years, and my sons' families all do it.
Mhm.
Everybody
Mhm.
takes their shoes off
Mhm.
right
Mhm.
at the
Yeah.
door.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
you come in.
Yeah.
I don't need to be dragging stuff into your house.
thank
You
you.
don't know what's at the bottom of my shoes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And,
Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to walk on my carpet with shoes from the outside.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Put it that
Yeah,
way.
that was my great aunt. I mean, like I said, her floors were pristine. You could eat off of them. They were so clean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But when you walked in, you went through the back door. Nobody came in through the front door,
Oh, sure.
regardless. She would motion people go to the back. She would go look if somebody knocked at the front, tell them go to the back. But when you walked in, there was like a little mud room right there, and
Yeah.
there were like 50 pairs of slippers, all different sizes, shapes, and colors.
Mhm.
Took shoes off, you put on one of those slippers, or you
Yeah.
went barefoot,
There you
Yeah.
go.
and that was it. You know,
Yeah.
you
Wow.
didn't walk in her house with your shoes. That's for damn sure.
Wow.
No.
Well, it's been that's quite a topic, and I appreciate your feedback on it, and also I really love the feedback we've gotten in the chat about it.
Yes.
It is something that I've seen some of my friends struggle with, mostly with their children. For some reason, they think if they've set a boundary with their child, like they won't take the kid for the weekend or something, that their child won't talk to them anymore,
Oh.
or be mad with them all, and be vengeful or whatever. And that breaks my heart, because
Yes.
I think you should be able to say, gee, I can't this weekend. I
Well,
just
if
can't.
you raise them to be
Yes.
responsible human beings who have
Mhm.
empathy for other people, they
Yeah.
are not going to treat their parent that way. They're going to
Right.
understand.
They're going to
that they have
set it up
something-
in advance.
Yes.
I do the same thing, Debbie, and my daughter does the same thing when she comes here, and my son-in-law. They bring
Yeah.
their slippers. Isn't that funny?
See, I
Yeah.
bring my
Mhm.
socks, and
There
we
you go.
take our shoes off, and I put my
Mhm.
big thick socks on.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Yeah.
Keep your
Yep.
feet warm. That's for
yeah,
sure.
Yep.
keep my
Wow.
feet warm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. I had
Yeah.
a friend, and they had just put down new carpeting in their house. So yeah, we had gone over to visit and to see the new carpeting, because it was such a big deal for them. And while we were still in the kitchen, Mike came out, and he had a bundle, sock bundle for everyone. And he said, yeah, here, put this on. And it was like, oh, well, I wasn't going to walk on the new carpet with my shoes anyway.
Mhm.
But he said, no, it's just the oils that are at the bottom of your feet. Sometimes if you're barefoot on carpet, can stay in the carpet, whatnot.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, well, see, that wasn't such a difficult thing to do.
No.
Here's a pair of socks. Leave them
Yeah,
at the
and-
door when you leave.
Basket of slippers or a basket of socks is what
Yes.
people are saying. Yeah.
I've even known people who, when I was in the medical field, I knew a lot of doctors and surgeons and stuff. They kept the little surgical slip-on things they would put
Yeah,
on
yeah.
their shoes when they went into surgery. They
Yes.
also kept them at their home. And when you
Sure.
went in their house,
There you go.
if you kept your shoes on, you put those on. If you took your shoes off,
I've had
you
workers
put
come
them
in.
on,
over
and
their
walked around
shoes.
in just
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. Some
It's-
feet are very dirty. That's very true. Very true. Well,
yeah.
as you all well know, we have we don't take questions in the chat during this show. This is just something we've decided not to do, but we do take questions that were left on our community boards, and we have 4 questions this week. So I'm going to go ahead and open them up so we can answer them and get ourselves squared away with time. So artist 179, is that artist Liz? Is that who that is? I don't know.
I don't think so because I saw
No.
artist Liz in the chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
She's here.
Yeah.
But I get, do you see how we will feel after January 20th, relieved in hope or stressed and worried? So, all right. So let's see what we can come up with here. I sleep with dogs too, Laura.
And cats and
That's like a big talk, but it's like,
A lot of people don't. They won't sleep with their animals and
Oh,
ours couldn't. Our golden retrievers couldn't jump on the bed because of hip dysplasia. So
Sure,
they
of
did
course.
sleep in our
Yeah.
bedroom with us, but
Mhm.
they slept on the floor because they couldn't jump.
We
up.
have
They wouldn't-
stairs.
They
Yeah, we
wouldn't
have-
sleep
yes.
on our pillow. But
Uh-huh. Oh, that's cute, Belle.
and believe me, my animals are cleaner than some people I've run into. So
yes,
I get you.
oh yeah.
All right. All right. So Marina, you want to start off? What do you see
Okay.
after January 20th?
Sure. You know what? I think a lot of it has to do with expectations. If you expect that you're going to be unhappy, you will be.
Mhm.
If you expect that this is something that you are going to work with and survive, you absolutely will.
Mhm.
So the idea that there's going to be that sort of a collective energy that we can draw on, I think a lot of people are feeling that they don't know, and it's okay not to know. It's okay to say, I just need to see what's going to happen. So
Mhm.
yeah, you know what, the 9 of Wands, the penultimate battle, people are feeling isolated, they're feeling worried and whatnot. So if it feels very much like an individual choice.
Mhm.
How you decide you're going to feel about it before that day happens is how you're going to get through it.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that. I love that. I do. Shari?
Well, building on what Marina said, I think it's not only what we're expecting ourselves to feel, because you're going to go into that day with one expectation or another. So you're going to go in either feeling good or feeling bad. I drew the 7 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. So both are a celebration. So some people are going to be celebrating, but then I do the 3 of Swords. Some of us aren't going to be celebrating. So it's,
True.
again, I think it's just going to depend on where your mindset is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of people seem to think some miraculous something's going to happen between now and then, and I
We
just
don't know.
don't. I just don't feel it. So I mean, do I wish something miraculous happens? Oh yeah, but
Mhm.
it is what it is.
Yeah. Yep. Belle?
well, mine's a little differing in that I connected to the people that are feeling like there is another layer to this reality that they're creating. And
Mhm.
this card is imagine. So just think of the John Lennon song.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
next, I know we're not supposed to pull 2 cards, but next to this, I did pull mending.
Yep. Yep.
It's giving me the
Imagine
chills.
mending.
So
Yep.
while that is all going on, and Shari and Marina are saying the truth of the general population, there's also a layer
Yes.
that's holding on to the dream,
Yeah.
the vision.
Right. Absolutely. Oh my God. And what have I got? Everybody has to have resources.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a picture of everybody sliding down on it like a toboggan in the winter snow,
Yeah.
but it's
Oh,
saying
how fun.
it's saying hang on, but have some a resource may just be someone to talk to, a friend.
Yeah.
Mary in the chat says we may require a few shots of whiskey, and that's okay too. So it's going to be whatever it is. But I really like the whole group of
Yeah.
readings that
Yeah.
this comes to. If it's Wayne Dyer's story, as he's walking along the beach in Maui, and someone he asked somebody, do you like it here? And they say, he gives them the example, do you like it where you live? And they say, no, it's a mess. It's this, it's that. And he says, well, you'll get that pretty much here. And then he meets another group and they ask the same thing. And he says, they say, oh, we love where we live. It's wonderful. And he says, well, pretty much see that here.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I tend to think it's part of our creation of reality as well. So.
Yes, it is our creation of
Oh,
reality.
yeah.
Yep. Just be prepared. Be prepared.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So thank you very much, artist.
Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's
there you go. There you go. All right. So the next question we have is Mr. Norm Gilbert. To all the gorgeous girls. Well, we can. Thank you so much, Norm. He had a Christmas
an extra
sale.
nice card for you, Norm.
Really, of stuff that made $600. His lease is up in April, and he's wondering if he should renew it or move to a different state or a city. Or what do you want to do, Norm? Wow, that's awesome.
Wow.
Thank you, Liz.
Are you wanting to go somewhere where nobody knows you, or are you wanting to go somewhere where there's more family or friends or something that you'll be close to?
Yeah. Norm, I get the world. You can pretty much go where you want, and I think that you have stayed where you are while you've been taking care of this. It's now come to an end, so it's time to decide what it is that you want to do, and I think that if you're thinking that it might be time to move, I would absolutely look at moving. In April. That is
okay. That's what you're getting.
That's what I'm getting. But don't make major life decisions based on what I'm telling you.
Right.
Because entertainment purposes only.
That's correct. That's correct.
3 of Cups. You're going to be happy with whichever decision you make.
Yeah.
Because either whether if you stay or you go, it's going to be deep down what you really want, and you're going to be happy and celebrating it.
Yeah. What I really want to know, should I stay or should I go?
Should I go now?
Yeah.
Well, what you got?
I got Norm, Milk and Honey.
Oh, wow.
This is just like a beautiful card for you. And really, there's also a card about you're going to be feeling really well and to pay attention to your health, because this is something that you're going to feel better after all the stress you've just gone through. It's a recovery period that you are pay attention to how happy you are and how you're feeling, and eat well, eat enough protein every day, whether that's through protein shakes. I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist. That's what I'm getting for you. Okay. And also, you notice this has food in it.
It does. Yeah.
Milk and honey. So that's what you have to look forward to, my friend.
That's wonderful. So, Norm, I got a different kind of card, but there are places that you may want to go to, but you find that you are confronted with certain types of people that are not aligned with the beliefs that you are. So do your research if you decide to go somewhere else. It may be that you just, you need to know what to expect because you don't want to go in blind. That's all. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I will quickly mention, hello, Don Turner has joined us. And yeah, Don, I did get your question. However, it was it was late this afternoon, so it was past our deadline. So we'll certainly take a look at it. You're number one on the list for next week. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. And next week we're on my channel. So there.
Well,
even better.
There you go. There you go. So Norm wanted you to know that he's recently started nutrition shakes, Val. So,
I love that. I love that from you. And this was a card I got from the Crystal Angels that had jade, and it talked about wellness is now coming to you, this beautiful healing energy. So I think that's exactly what you need to do. And
that's great.
You're just doing so great. I love that.
Yes. There you go, Norm.
I love it, Norm. Yeah.
All right. All right. So we have Mary Beth Lee. She says, blessings to us. I'd like a general reading and I will be present. So I guess whatever message we pull is a message that Mary Beth needs to hear. Maureen's eating chocolate cake. Now, I don't think that's
perfect.
That's not right. Wait a minute.
No.
I call foul.
Put it through the screen.
And if Mary Beth can let us know that she's here, that would be great. And maybe, I don't know about the other ladies, but for me, if you could just be a little more specific than a general reading, it just helps to kind of know where I need to focus. So
focus,
okay.
Yeah.
Here. All right.
Wonderful.
Mary Beth, just go ahead and put in. I mean, do you want to know about your holiday season? Do you want to know about career, money, love? What do you want to know about? And that would be helpful.
Yeah, because general reading, that could, when you go in for a general reading is when you book a reading, because then we can start from the very broad and work our way in.
So we know you're here, honey. Thank you for being here. Marina just wants you to give a little bit more of an area of a reading that you would like, that would help Marina, and the rest of us. Spiritual. Okay. We can do that. Yep. All right. Thank you. All right. Oh, that's cool, Anya. Anya, you're next after we're done with Mary Beth. Thank you.
Okay. Well, this is interesting. Okay, I get the Five of Swords. So on a spiritual level, Mary Beth, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Because the Five of Swords is kind of winning at all cost. Going in and you just have to walk out a winner regardless of what happens. So what I'm getting from this card is are you involved in something, or are you in a relationship that is tugging at you, where it is asking you to decide, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Is it time to just let something go? Or do you want to persist in doing what you're doing and expecting a different outcome?
Yeah, and that can be difficult on a spiritual journey.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Shari, what about you?
I got the Page of Wands. So, you said spiritual, so I would say keep your heart and your spirit open to whatever message that spirit is going to send to you. If you're looking for a spiritual, a page is usually someone that delivers the news, just brings in messages and whatnot. So it seems, and with this card in particular, he's got the staff with all the bells and everything on it. So that would be ringing in good news. It's, to my mind, when you would see something like this.
Yeah.
So I would think that just keep your thoughts and your ears and eyes open to the messages that Spirit's going to send to you.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Val?
Yeah. So is it Mary Beth? Because you took the
Yes,
message.
I put it down. It's Mary Beth. Yes.
Mary
Sorry.
Beth. So that's all right. There is a message from your guides and angels, and it is about balancing your masculine and feminine energies. And that really goes hand in hand with Marina's reading about being in that. Do you want to be right? Do you want, that's a little masculine, and you just balance it more into the feminine, which that is all about that kind of energy. And I'm getting the chills, so I know that's what they're trying to say. Discover your enthusiasm and your passion and purpose. It will give you your motivation for everything that is coming forward, because you have a stellar gateway activation coming in December. And this is about infinite potential, manifestation vortex. This is something that they want you to know about.
Yeah.
Balancing out and harmonizing the masculine and feminine within you is a really important thing, especially with Marina's reading that tied in quite well.
Yeah.
And I was paying so much attention, I didn't listen to Shari. Sorry, Shari. You're probably
that was the Page of Wands.
Yeah.
Page of Wands. It fits right in this whole
fits right
thing.
in. It does.
Yeah, it does.
And
Fits right in.
And my message is it fits right in as well. And don't be so focused on the destination. Be more focused on the journey.
There you go.
Because that's where everything coheses and gels and works for you. And we tend to look up and out and miss what's right in front of us. And that's what the journey is about, Mary Beth. So yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Okay, very good. We got one more, and I just got to get it here. All right. You feed leftovers to the crows, Amanda? Ooh, that's nice of you.
They love it.
Yeah.
What's not to love? I mean,
I know. So this is a question from Anya Ashdown. And her name just came off, but so you know. She lives in Western North Carolina. She's wondering about how to prepare for the weather for the winter, because it can be very severe in 2,800 feet elevation. So that's what she'd like to know about.
I just got the chills.
Burr?
Yeah. Firewood.
Thick wool socks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm seeing candles and I'm seeing heat. So make sure that you have candles or flashlights or something available if you need to, if you happen to lose power, or you need to find your way in the dark.
Yeah.
And yeah, somebody said firewood and we all laughed, but no, keep that handy. And keep it dry. So keep it in the house. It's not enough just to have it outside, because firewood that is wet, of course, it's very difficult to light.
True.
So
if she's got a fireplace, though, I don't know if she does. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Awesome. Yeah.
other than that, you know what? Yeah, the high priestess.
Ah.
Do what you feel you need to do, because where your intuition is taking you is on the right path. So yeah,
Mhm.
follow that. Trust
Follow
your
it.
intuition.
There you go. Oh, good. Sherry?
Well, I pulled one card out, the second one came out with it, so I'll give you both of them. I pulled the Six of Pentacles, so that's kind of sharing your largesse, making sure that not only that you have what you need around you, but make sure that neighbor down the road maybe that doesn't have a car or doesn't have, any other relatives around, check in on them, make sure they're going to be okay, because the moon came out with it. So you don't want things to be hidden away when bad weather is upon you. So you want to just kind of cross all your T's and dot all your I's and make sure you've checked everything. And I think you should be okay, but I would prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yep.
So
Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is it Anya?
It's Anya.
So Anya, yeah, when I see this house up on that little, I feel like you're, in one way, you're protected. You're up out of the elements and there's a light on in the home. No place like home. So I feel, and you notice it's not, you're safe and dry. So in some way, I think that is, if you do all the steps and prepare for everything, you will be fine. And, I just feel like the other card I got is actually peace. So you'll have peace of mind and you will feel like you are protected.
Yep.
So
Wow.
yeah, that's what I
That's
get.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And mine is reinforcement. Reinforce things that need to be done, replace things that may, batteries have batteries. I know you need gas for your generator, that kind of thing. Yeah. But it's really wonderful. And reinforcement can also be like your son is able, because I know he doesn't live real close to you, but close enough that he could be a reinforcement. In other words, it's really bad. I'm coming down for the weekend because I don't want to be by myself, or a friend, whatever. But call in the reinforcements if you need them, because that's going to be something that is necessary actually for all of us. We're all undergoing these weather changes and we don't know from day to day where it's going to affect. I didn't expect what happened here in Washington to happen. He told me in the morning. He told me, and I'm like, no. And yes, it was horrible. So you just don't know. And so it's very important for every one of us to be prepared as if something was going to happen tomorrow. So we won't be.
It's been extremely cold here. We normally don't get weather this cold here until end of January, beginning of February,
Yeah.
We'll get teased with a little cold in December, but nothing like we've been getting. I mean,
oh my God.
Really
Wildflower says Minnesota is 10 below zero tonight.
I'm just getting the chills.
I'm freezing now. Stay warm, sweetheart.
Thank you that I live in the South.
Yeah.
And it's a
we
good
didn't have our
opportunity
AC, or we didn't have our air conditioner on for Christmas. So
Yes.
And it's a good opportunity to remind everyone to you don't have to become best friends with your neighbors,
Right.
but at least know who your neighbors are.
Yeah.
That's
At
right.
least
They helped me so much. I didn't know them last year, and they're fabulous. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
So that in case anything happens, you know that, I know who's on either side of me and who's across the street. So that if I have
I just met my new neighbor that moved in next door, the apartment next door to us. I don't speak her language and she doesn't speak my language, but by golly, she had an app on her phone. She'd just hold her phone up and she'd say it and then hold it to me. And I'd say, oh, okay. And then I would answer and then she'd look back and go, oh, okay. So we had a whole conversation.
Yeah.
In two different languages, we
It can happen.
We had the universal what was it they called it on Star Trek? The universal something or other with languages or something like that.
The universal
Yeah.
translator, the communicator.
Translator. That's what it was.
translator.
Universal translator.
Perfect.
Universal
Yeah,
tran-
and it was all an app on her iPhone.
Right. Right.
Perfect.
So next week, Marina will be hosting us. And we will have up our community pages. That is where you need to go. If you go to our channels and you check at the very top, there's a list of things, and one of them is community, and you can put your question in there. We'd be happy to answer or do a reading for you on the question. And
Yes,
please like and
absolutely.
subscribe to my sister's channels, or leave a short note in our chats, because it helps our algorithm. And nobody is quite as diligent about posting all the shows they're in as Marina is.
Yes,
But
she's really good.
she's
We're
such a big
learning from
small-
her, but we're not
Yeah.
there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But check with us, and you can always hit the bell, and you'll be informed
Yes.
when we come on if you're interested. So
Mhm.
thank you, everybody, for being here, and have a beautiful
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you, sisters. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.